Before we get into the latest edition of Dolphins Today, if you want a 7-round mock draft specifically for the Miami Dolphins, then type me in the comment section. The more me's we get, the better indication that this is the draft content you guys want here on the channel. We begin with a trade idea from our friends over at Bleacher Report. They suggested to fill the team's quote-unquote biggest weakness, which I don't think the number 4 edge is actually their biggest weakness, but whatever. The Dolphins just a trade for Lorenzo Carter, the Falcons' veteran pass rusher. Here was the argument from Bleacher Report, saying Lorenzo Carter can help Shaq Barrett patch up the Dolphins' pass rush, acknowledging the injuries to guys like Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. Though he's been an efficient starter, he carved out a decent role as a rotational defender with the Falcons last year. The Dolphins can acquire the Georgia product to generate a spark, in their third down pass rush and supplement their run defense. The trade idea from Bleacher Report was this. The Dolphins get Lorenzo Carter. The Falcons get a 6th-round draft pick in exchange, which I think is maybe even on the Dolphins' side of things, given the Falcons don't have their own greatest pass rush, and they'd be trading away, assuming they draft one today, they'd still be trading away one of their better options in the end for what amounts to a cheap day 3 pick, and you'd be paying him less than $3 million. That's pretty affordable, all things considered, for Miami, although it is a group that is older and maybe not the best depth in terms of youth. They don't have many draft picks here overall. Miami is battling those injuries, though. You have Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb coming off those injuries, the ACL, or the Achilles in the ACL, I did like the idea of adding Shaq Barrett in free agency. Who's your 4th edge? Because you might need a better 4th edge than most teams would normally have because of the injury stuff with Phillips. So if you're really long-term pieces, but you're focused on like the first 2, 3, maybe 3 months of the regular season, could it be Quentin Bell? Is it going to be Cameron Good? I don't know. So adding a veteran in Carter would help. His numbers have never been that impactful, though. Best case, I feel like you're going to get 5 sacks out of him. Now, you probably only get, I think the 2023 numbers are probably pretty decent. He's going to get to 6 TFLs if he's a key rotation piece. It's a matter of, can you find a cheaper veteran on the market and not have to spend the 6th-round pick as well? If that's not the case, I do think exploring a trade for Carter starts to make some sense. So would you trade for Lorenzo Carter if you ran the Dolphins? It's today's pinned comment. You should know what that means by now. Why for yes you would, and for no you would not. The ad comes on YouTube. Ignore it. Go vote at the pinned comment instead. Now, we will have plenty of draft coverage here for you. We'll break down some of the draft meetings the Dolphins have as those begin to kind of come out in the next couple weeks before the draft. One notable player apparently is one of the 30 visits for Miami. That's Qwan'Tez Stiggers, which is probably one of the more fun and the most unique story in this year's NFL draft. Began his college career at Lane College. He went to high school in Georgia. His dad, unfortunately, died going into his freshman season, battled depression, didn't actually end up playing for Lane College. Then signed on with the fan-controlled football league, where one of the CFL was like, hey, you should come try out for us. Goes to the Toronto Argonauts this past year and was their rookie of the year and had one of the better defensive seasons of anyone. He had 53 tackles, 5 interceptions in 16 games played. And despite already being a pro football player for the CFL, he actually is draft eligible this year. So he is part of this year's draft class, which I don't think I've seen before. So it's a kind of wild and also fun path this team has gone on, or this player has gone on. So clearly Miami has some interest there, as I would assume to be an outside corner. Allegedly ran a 4.47 at his pro day. We'll see about the actual numbers, when the beast arrives from Denver. We'll have sometimes those numbers end up being a little bit juiced versus what NFL teams end up using. But Miami is open, clearly, to adding more corner depth come day 3, or even potentially as a UDFA in the event the 22-year-old does not end up getting drafted. You have Cam Smith, who I still want to believe is a long-term piece, but your outside corner depth is really thin beyond that. It's Ramsey, Fuller, Cam Smith, and Kohu and Needham, I guess, could play on the outside, but one of them are going to be in the slot anyway. Ethan Bonner. So you are looking for more corner depth, and even if that's only CB5 or CB6, a late day 3 pick could certainly fill that potential void. So name a player who you would like to see the Miami Dolphins this year. Doesn't have to be round 1. It could be day 2 or even later on day 3. Sound off for me in the comments section right now. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. If you're anxious about the Dolphins' lack of draft capital, I get that. You shouldn't have to worry, though, when you're buying tickets to your next big event. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to whatever your event is. Obviously, you're almost out of time here, but the Marlins game tonight is super duper affordable with the $20 off that Game Time can give you if you use promo code ChatSports. Raptors Heat, as the Heat make their playoff push, and you can even go to the CONCACAF Cup quarterfinals coming up on Wednesday if you wanted to. And of course, not just sports, they've got concert, theater, comedy as well. So download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but create your account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. That link, gametime.co, and the promo code CHATSPORTS will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Tying in both free agency and the draft here, a report from Barry Jackson says Dolphins have told at least one veteran free agent starting offensive guard they're going to check in with him after the NFL draft, which means they want to see how the draft plays out, then potentially revisit. So my first thought was, okay, which veteran free agent guard were they talking to? Some names that stand out, guys who have been starters, even especially recently. Dalton Reisner, which I think that'd be a really good move for Miami. I still like him a lot. Mark Lewinsky was not great for the Giants, but checks off the starting box. There's really no order of these, by the way. Lincoln Tomlinson has ties to the Mike McDaniel coaching tree, given his time in San Francisco. That one stands out to me. Phil Haynes is a right guard option. Gabe Jackson as well has kind of bounced around in recent years. Cody Whitehair offers some center flexibility as well, but he didn't play very well at all last year for Chicago. Trey Turner continues to find a way to keep cashing them checks and playing games. And Big V, the former Eagle and Lion offensive guard, I believe it's pronounced Halapuli Vaitai. I think that's how it is. Probably got it a little bit wrong there, but that's always a tough one for me. But they've got guards out there in free agency to help fill out the depth on this team. So if any, none is a viable option here, but name an offensive guard who you would like to see Miami sign. Sound off in the comment section right now. The offensive line depth chart does need guard help. You're going to have Aaron Brewer at center. Liam Eichenberg, I don't want to play real games. I don't want him out there. So I don't want to play him when games matter, etc. Isaiah Wynn can start. It would not be a bad thing if he was your top backup on the left side, though. He can play left guard and left tackle. Robert Jones, Lester Cotton. Do you trust them? I want one more guard so that I can have better depth and ideally a starting caliber option. So some draft targets from both round 1 and round 2. I don't know if Troy Fatanu gets to you. That'd be a great selection. Jackson Powers-Johnson does have medical concerns. I've heard hip injury for him. That's raised some red flags, but he can play center or guard. Graham Barton might be a Dolphin in the end. Plug him in at left guard, and I think you're set. Christian Haynes, Cooper Beebe are potential day 2 picks along the offensive line, specifically at guard. Zach Frazier was a center for West Virginia. Could he play guard? Maybe. And I'll mention Jordan Morgan and J.C. Latham, who'd probably go either before your round 1 pick or before your second round pick, if you want to, in Morgan's case. Latham, might not even get to yet. Tackles who I think could play guard as well that stand out as maybe position change guys. And maybe in Morgan's case, or even somebody else, or even in Fatanu's case, plug him in there at left guard for now and maybe kick him back out to left tackle once Teron Armstead hangs it up and calls it a career. Now, we will have plenty of Dolphins coverage for you. They make a free agency signing, we will break it down. When their draft picks come in, we'll have videos for you as well. So do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now for more free Dolphins YouTube videos.